from their encounters with races from other planets. The information is the activation. Let's awaken this world together. We are the forever students, and we will not be silent. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Pretty wild. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Full Spectrum Universe. My name is Rob Yox. We are the Embattled broadcast from behind enemy lines in the once great state of New York. We are here today with WATCHERSTALK, who has had an incident that has happened last night. We're going to go over everything that has happened. We're going to talk about what solutions are and where we can redirect people. So I'm going to relinquish the mic myself and go straight to Omar, our brother from another mother, who we truly support 100%, 24 hours a day, 367 days a week, because that's what we do. Even though it's 365, we're going to give you 2 extra because that's how much we love you. So go ahead, bud.
What is up, Rob? Thank you very much for putting this stream together. Happy day, everyone. My name is Omar, coming at you guys from the west coast of Turtle Island, designated British Columbia by the illegal doctrine of discovery. And WATCHERSTALK is actively being canceled. And that actually began a few weeks ago when I began streaming. Well, it kind of started with the Rockefellers. And then after I stopped at the Rockefeller, moved on from the Rockefellers, got onto the Rothschilds, that's when the algorithm of YouTube really began, pressing down on me. And suddenly I just saw my stats just drop. And then now I did that interview with Frank Jacob yesterday, which, many of you may have seen. And, it was a pretty cordial interview. We, touched on many things like climate change. And then we touched on, the old thing, but we, code talked that. And then we showed a video as to what that, what's doing inside there, like nanobots and things like that. And, and then the intention of the show in the beginning was that Frank Jacob himself had been canceled in the EU, particularly in Germany, where his venues are being canceled because of what he's talking about. And what he's talking about is exposing the globalist cabal and the tale of the 2 timelines, because we've been touching on the looking glass timelines for, better part of this year, pretty much since April. And I've been doing follow-ups on that and keeping a close tabs on Frank, see what's going on with him. So the other day when I found out that he got canceled, I reached out to him and asked him to come on and, and have a conversation with me. So he did. And a beautiful conversation it was yesterday. It lasted about 2 hours. I looked at the clock about an hour in. And I was like, wow, maybe I should kill the conversation now. But Frank was just on a roll. So I was like, who am I to stop Frank when he's on a roll? So I'm just going to, just let him keep going. So Frank kept on going. And about close to 2 hours, we killed the stream, and all was well. And then I got a message from YouTube last night, and this is twice now it's happened. Check this. So I got a message from them last night around 8:30, 9 o'clock or so, just around there somewhere, telling me that my video goes against their public community standards, and that I gave medical misinformation, and that I am banned for, I should say canceled for 2 weeks on YouTube. And I can't upload, post, go live, do any of that for 2 weeks. And also, they gave me a strike. And this is my second strike in like a matter of a week, right? So, and you guys know that, once you get 3 strikes on YouTube, they terminate your channel. There's no appeals, no nothing. But now, speaking of appeals, when I got my my strike last week, that was from a video from 6 years ago, right? That was a video that I did with our brother Clarence Mitchell from Closer Encounters, and that was originally actually a YouTube video. And in that video, or Facebook video, that I was streaming to YouTube, because back in those days, I was streaming on Facebook quite regularly, and I wasn't really interested in YouTube at that time. So that video ended up on YouTube anyways, and then back then YouTube sent me a message saying that hey, your video it's pretty graphic, and it's for adults only, and people will have to log in to view this video. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool, because the video in itself showed a journalist in Syria, or in Libya, Syria, I think it was, being beheaded. And and the whole point of the video, Clarence and I were talking about how dangerous it is to be journalists in the front line, and how is it possible? Why are we even sending people into the front lines to record and transmit this shit like it's a reality show? It's not right. So, anyways, they let the video sit there for about 6 years. And then when I did the Rothschilds, and after the Rothschilds, they had noticed that I wasn't slowing down, and that I was actually picking it up even more and more and more, because at that time I went into Disney, and then I did Disney 1, Disney 2, Disney 3, Disney 4, Disney 5, and I was just getting ready to do Disney 6, my final chapter of Disney, into Mind Control. And then after Mind Control, I was going to upload a video, Fantasia, to my website, and then put down a transcript of how mind control happens within that video, because there's no words in that video. It's just music and imagery, and then that's the best way to really mind control someone. So I broke the entire video down, and it's there second by second. So I was going to do that, and then I was going to jump into chapter 4 of Protocols of Saturn, and then show the symbolism on the ground in the streets and things like that. So as I was doing this, YouTube saw that I wasn't slowing down, so they went back into my library and found the video from 6 years ago and said, okay, well, we have to stop this guy one way or another. So they stopped me and then gave me that strike. So essentially they canceled me for a week. And then now yesterday, when I brought Frank on, who himself is canceled, they canceled me again last night on a two-week thing. But have no fear, guys, because I'm just simply not going to take this laying down. I've been doing this like for close to 9 years now, and I've had my fair shares of downs, right? A lot of ups, because I consider the ups as all the people that I've gotten to know and gotten to interview, and all of the people in the chat room that I've become friends with and gotten to know. So those are the highs, and the lows are when YouTube does this, or when Facebook takes my page of 50,000 followers and deletes it and doesn't give me a reason as to why they deleted my page, simply because I'm putting up content that they don't agree with, but you guys agree with it. So as long as you agree with it, I'm cool with that. So fuck them. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So as you guys are aware, I have another channel here on Facebook, or here on YouTube, which is my backup channel called WATCHERSTALK Network. And that's where I'm going to start working, actually, from now on. I'm just going to allow the heat to settle on my main Watchers Talk page, because I'm not quite sure what they're going to do next. Right. So far now, my channel is under danger until, the end of December, like December 29th, December 30th is when these two strikes are going to be lifted. The first strike is going to be lifted December 25th, and the next one's going to be like on December 29th or December 30th. So between now and then, they could just give me another strike and just simply kill my channel. And I think that was their point all along, is to get me to that position to where they got me walking on eggshells, right? But I'm not going to walk on eggshells. I'm not going to acquiesce to these people, because that's what they want. They want me to live in fear. So last night I was meditating, I was zoning, and I was thinking, and I was like, okay, what do I do? What am I going to do? So I came up with a plan, and the plan is that I'm going to continue to stream over to my channel at Watchers Talk Network, and then also to my Odysee account. You guys know that I already have a Odysee account, and that's kind of where I'm going to be, doing majority of my stuff from now on. So I'm just going to do like a half hour. I'm going to do a half hour on YouTube, and then I'll kill the stream and then direct everyone to come to my Odysee account. And then here's my Watchers Talk Network channel, right? I don't know, I guess you guys can't see it, but anyways, it's right here. So I'd appreciate it if you guys can subscribe to this channel, because it's got like 102 subscribers to it, and I'd like to raise that. And then this is where I'm going to be streaming my our upcoming event as well. On November 11th, 12th, and 13th, we have the Magic Box Timelines that we're streaming to Full Spectrum Universe. And then it was originally supposed to be on Full Spectrum Universe and Watchers Talk, right? But obviously I can't do that because the plan was, my fellow projections, that because YouTube is fucking with me so hard, I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together like a 3-day event, and I'm going to stream that event to my channel and to Rob's channel, so that we're going to just, drive traffic to our channels. Because once you get a strike, what YouTube does, your video to other people, right? So essentially they just put you in the basement. Next thing you know, your stats just drop, and when they drop, it really, really does damage the channel. So I was concerned about that, and I was like, okay, well, how can I get around this? How can I beat YouTube at their own game? So I thought, okay, well, I'm a veteran, event creator, so I'm going to create an event for 3 days, and during those 3 days, I'm just going to drive people to my channel and just continue the watch times going up, just kind of balance out what they're doing, so it really doesn't affect and damage the channel. And that's what the plan was. And then now these guys stepped in and said that I'm banned for 2 weeks. And now check this out: the day after the event is over, I can come back, post, stream, things like that. November 14th is when my restriction lifts, and November 13th is when the event ends.
That's crazy. And
So
that's
you
usually,
can, so
you're
so
right
you can,
too. That's usually the way that they do it too, is they give you the first two, and then they come in that method and try and find that third one somewhere within your content.
that's
And
right.
and look at that synchronicity of how they're trying to really, just dub you out, because of it's perpetual energy in motion, right?
Hmm.
We're seeing that, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to say this because they're waiting for that day, right? That day is the day that it all lifts, and from there you'll be able to do whatever you got to do again. But there's
Hmm.
something enacted there, right? Like, it's crazy. Go
That's
ahead.
right.
Go
And
ahead.
check this out, Rob. The first strike that I got, I was mad about it. I was like, hey, well, why would you guys do that when the video's
Who
been sitting
wouldn't
in
be?
my archives for 6 years? It's been sitting there, and you guys, just flag it now. But anyways, when they flagged it, I appealed it right away, right? I was like, no, no, no. And then in the description, I put, well, why would you guys do this when the video's been sitting in my archives for 6 years? Why didn't you grab it 6 years ago? Why didn't you tell me 6 years ago that, hey, this video violates our community standards, you can't have this up here, so here's your strike, and you're blocked for a week, and that's it, right? But wait 6 years, it's strategizing, right? But check this out: once I put my appeal up, within seconds of putting my appeal on, and the show that I did with Clarence was close to a 2-hour video, and as soon as I put my appeal in, within seconds they sent me a message back saying that we manually reviewed your video, and it still goes against our community standards. And I'm sitting there baffled. It's like, well,
Bullshit.
I just sent you this appeal, and you sent me this email back within seconds. So how could you have, possibly, manually watch this video, which is 2 hours long? And then now the same thing happened last night when I got the notice for Frank's video. I put in the appeal, and I said, what's wrong with this video? There's nothing wrong with this video. We're not talking about anything really that everybody else isn't talking about on YouTube. And within seconds, they sent me the same email back and said, nope, it's medical misinformation, goes against our community standards, strike stands, you're blocked for 2 weeks. And, again, pre-planned, right? Because this video that I did with Frank yesterday was 1 hour and 56 minutes long, right? So if they manually, dig what I'm saying? There's nothing
You have to
manual.
watch it it's at least 2 hours before they can manually review it.
Exactly. There, and it's impossible for them to do. And so this is preset, right? They see what I'm doing on my channel. They see that I'm putting together this event. They see that I have a strike, and I'm trying to, battle that, right? And then they stepped up and just took me out just at the right moment, right, to where I wouldn't be able to stream that particular event to Watchers Talk. But
Well,
that's okay.
it's actually going to be the opposite of the right moment. It's going to be the wrong moment for them, because now what happens is we're putting our energy into alternate platforms where either channels and or other places you can find the content in which people are looking to watch and watch
Mm-hmm.
this event, which is why in the description we have the other Watchers Talk Network. That's a different page on YouTube. That's why we have a projectionofview.com. That's why we have the Odysee channel, because all those places are other places where the same exact content can be consumed, and we're not regulated by just the the algorithm, I guess is the best way to say it. And
Yeah,
as much as we love being on YouTube, we all know that there is a progression to slowly come off of YouTube, regardless of whatever you're streaming on. Even if we were doing content that was crystal clean, eventually we're going to transition to either somewhere else, a platform of our own, or a different platform that's going to behest us even more to be on that platform. And hopefully, the people who like what we're doing come with us to those platforms because they are places of uncensored, unregulated, conversations in that way.
yeah, I'm gonna post the. This is my Odyssey channel, guys, and as you guys know, we did an event there a few weeks ago, and we streamed that uncensored event to Odyssey, and that really was a test for myself to see whether Odyssey stands up to its claims, because Odyssey claims that it doesn't censor anyone and that everyone is free to talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about. They don't care, right? So there's no censorship there, they claim. So when we did the event with Caroline Chang, and streamed that to the website, and also we streamed that to decipher.tv, and also to Odysee, and Odysee was true to their word, because we touched on a lot of things that we simply can't talk about here on YouTube. And Odysee, it was no big deal, and hundreds of people were watching on Odysee as well, which was really a surprise to me, and I was happy about that. So all my uncensored stuff, right, that YouTube considered censored, is all on Odysee, and that's kind of where I'm going to be operating at a full-time basis now. Like I said, I'll stream about a half hour of my show to WATCHERSTALK network, and then from there I'll kill the stream and then continue on Odysee. So I'd appreciate it if you guys can follow me on Odysee. I'm going to put the link right here, and I would suggest that you guys go and explore Odysee as well, because it is a really good platform, and I enjoy it. And it's got all of my videos, right? Like, I've mirrored my channel from YouTube to Odysee. So whatever that I have on YouTube is automatically put on to Odysee. And sometimes what I find about Odysee is that if I put up a video that's like, say, 2 hours long, sometimes it doesn't pick that up, right? So the next day I have to go in there and then manually upload that video, which I do, right? So I don't want to, mess up my things, right? Because I want to keep my library, because now I know that that Odysee is okay. Like, I see Kelly, she says use Rumble and Odysee, and I would do Rumble. Right, but the thing about Rumble is, guys, is that I need to pay them in order for me to do live streams. I don't want to just upload a video, right? Like, I don't want to do that, and I've never done that in the 9 years and that I've been doing Watchers Talk. I think I only did like one interview, and that was with George Mitrovic back like 8 years ago, when I was still on YouTube, or sorry, on Facebook. And I did that as a pre-recorded interview and uploaded that. And since then, I've never done a pre-recorded interview. I
We
like
like
my
lives. Lives
Yeah,
are fun. It's
yeah,
it's not just the, we sometimes we upload videos, yes, but more so to just give content to the channel to keep the
hmm
keep the momentum going.
yeah,
Lives, there's an essence to the live, because it's not just us talking, it's the audience, it's the chat, it's
yeah,
everything going in conglomeration. It becomes an energy, it becomes a way to affect essentially the Schumann resonance when people are consistently thinking along the same lines and motivated to unlocking information. That's why
hmm
chats are very, very special. And the lives are very, very special because of that too. And it's also
hmm
the exchange of ideas. It's not just one person pontificating a position. It's an interaction, which is what we pride ourselves on, really.
yeah. I enjoy the chat. Like, even like when I'm talking, I'm actually not looking at Rob. Now I am. I'm looking at Rob, but 90% of the time you'll notice that my head angle is like this, and it's like that because I'm reading the chat. I enjoy the chat, and that's why I enjoy the live streams and Rumble. you have to buy a membership. You have to pay them something, X amount of dollars on a monthly basis to be able to live stream, right, onto Rumble. And I simply don't make enough money to to cover those expenses, because right now I have to pay for my studio with StreamYard, and then that's like $30 a month. And then now if I go to Rumble, they're going to want like another 50, 60, $70 a month. That's American. And I just simply can't afford that. Now if I was making that money in return off of my channel, I would, right? Because
Right.
I'm not losing anything out of my own pocket. It's just simply, it's user operated, user run, community supported. And then once it's community supported, then I'm more than happy to do what I need to do to carry my work forward, right? But I just can't afford at this time to just take out $100 out of my income and give it to these corporations on a monthly basis when I don't make that money off of Facebook or YouTube, right?
And you
So
don't have to. There's ways to do it other ways without having to do that. So you're still essentially getting the same amount of impressions, which we know behind the scenes is how many people are actually seeing the icon, or it's actually being presented to them for them to watch. You can get the same amount of impressions, and here's the other thing is paying Rumble. How much are they going to be promoting your product by giving them that money? And that's
mhm,
the other side of it. When it's very easy to just accept the money from, let's say, YouTube and just pocket that and go with it. What we try and focus on is ways to expand with that money. So what happens is the money comes in, and then we use that money to get further and farther, so more people come, so we can collect more of a community and become more of a communal aspect in that aspect. So it's not like it has a lot to do with like the give and take, right? Like supply and
mhm,
demand. We can only go as far as the monetization will allow us to do. And when we're looking at certain things, like you have to pay to live stream, what are they going to do for you with that money? Is it just to pay for you to get 3, 4, 5 views without them advertising you? And that's kind of what happens over there. People, they pay X, I don't even know how much it is. I think it's like $10, $15 a month. And if you pay for a year, I think you get a deal. But they don't promote you. Like, they don't put
mhm.
you into the list of the people. They won't put you above people who are uploading, right?
That's, yeah.
And that to me is like, then why do it at all? If I'm not going to
Mhm.
pay you to help work for me in that way, like there's no point. There's a lot of other places we can do that for free and just maintain the same amount of impressions throughout the whole thing.
I think Odyssey for me right now is the it's the best option, right? Because one, I can just freely speak, right? I don't have to watch my language. For me, it's pretty tough to speak because every second word is an F bomb. In my regular speech, right? So I really, I watch my language when I'm on camera, guys. Sometimes it kind of slips out, but I'm very conscious and aware of my speech while I'm on camera. But just saying that, and the things that I speak about is considered to be a taboo here on this. And the money at the end of the day really is not the the key driving force here. The key driving force is that I'm on a life's mission. I have work to do, I have obligations, I have commitments, I have contracts that I've obligated myself to in this cycle of incarnation, and that's what I need to take care of, and that's what I've been doing. And thankfully, the universe has been, looking after me for the past several years for me to do what I need to do. It's because I've created that intention for myself. It's that I want to do what I love and love to do what I do. Right, our buddy Jerome Calvar says that love what you do what you love,
He
and
says
that's
it
a
a bit different.
mindset.
He goes, "Do what you love and love what you do." I love
That's
when he
right.
says it. It's the
His
best.
his a French accent. I love that accent. So that's the story, guys. That's what's happening, and I'm setting up a Patreon as well. I stayed away from Patreon up until now, and I went and checked out Patreon yesterday, and then I thought that I would be able to live stream to Patreon like we can here on YouTube, but it turned out that I can't, and that in fact I need to use like Vimeo or YouTube to actually stream to Patreon. So, that kind of annoyed me a little bit, right? Because but on the other hand, it lit a bulb in my head as well, and I was like, wait a minute, if I can't stream off of my Watchers Talk, maybe I can off of my network. And then I came into the studio, and then I went into the Watchers Talk network, signed in, and voila, boom, I was able to stream there. And in fact, I'm streaming there right now. We're streaming this to see whether I can or not, and it seems to be working.
Yeah.
And I like that. So so one account is under fire. So my goal is to have a backup to that. So I'd appreciate your guys' help. Share this out. Come to the channel, subscribe to it, and our event coming up on November 11th, 12th, and 13th, the Magic Box Timelines, will be streamed here on Full Spectrum Universe, as well as the Watchers Talk Network. And now the idea behind streaming to the Watchers Talk Network, guys, is to, one, for you guys to subscribe to the channel, but for second is to get those hours watched, because YouTube wants like 2,500 hours watched and like 1,000 subscribers before they can monetize your channel, before they allow the community tab to open up, before they allow the memberships. But even if that gets memberships, I'm not going to do that, because now my goal, literally now my goal is to move off of YouTube and fully transist off and operate else place. And then only thing I'm going to do is, like I said, 15-20 minutes, half-hour stream to YouTube, to let everyone know who has subscribed that we're live and that content is being streamed on Odysee, right? And I think that's my best route right now until I don't know. I just
Well, we're gonna have to play it out and see what happens. And
yeah.
and here's the big part of it. If you go to a projectionofview.com, you'll never be without the consistency of what's happening in Watchers Talk, live streams and worlds.
Mhm.
Everything will always be posted there, and there will always be the ability to keep up on Watchers Talk and Omar's work. And that's also one of the reasons why we're building a website for Full Spectrum Universe, because you need that platform to really move to that next stage of growth. And so if there's ever a question of where something's going to be, a projectionofview.com is by far the best way. Every day, every time, you can always find what you need there. And also, we post a lot of our events on that site as well. So if you want to know what's coming up into the future, that is also something like that can be done there. And I feel a need to have to say that I need to make these backups as well, because we have a Rumble channel, but
I have
the
one.
Odyssey channel I have to get up and running properly, because it wasn't transferring what was happening here over there. Otherwise, I believe I would have a little bit more than just blank, a blank page and nobody following it except for you. But because it's me, but nobody
Hmm.
knows it's me. So I have to get that working as well. And I think that what's happening here is something we have to spotlight, because it's happening all over. And there's certain people who are in the tech sphere who are slowly but surely making changes. So hopefully we can ride out this wave until what's going to be happening over the next few years that I see happening, which is going to be that they're eventually going to be a lot of restrictions lifted, as we would think that are restricted right now. Things are going to change on platforms, on the streaming. So I would hope that we can basically survive the lay of the land for the next 2 or 3 years before things change. And I think that that's what's going to be the mass indicator of how we move forward from that point. But at the same time, it's always good to have those backups too,
Hmm.
because all of those backups, regardless of if we stay on YouTube prominently and we have those other ones, we're still garnering more people to what work is being cultivated and the community that's being cultivated, because truly it comes down to community. And without these platforms, we lose, I don't say we lose contact with each other, but we want to create this change and we need these platforms to congregate and speak, which is another reason why I made the Telegram chat. And Omar has a Telegram chat too, the same thing, which he's going to post in my Telegram chat so we can all be one big group, one big
Mm-hmm.
unit, you know. And I think that that's what it comes down to. We have to find our pocket and reside within that pocket and explore what we need to explore within that pocket. And that pocket becomes our reality moving into this new phase of whatever's coming next.
Mm-hmm. It's times are kind of weird, and it's tough right now for everyone. Like my buddy, Starchild, was saying here in the comments. She says our monthly bills have gone up by at least $300 more monthly. Same here. Grocery
Yeah.
prices are insane. You guys might have saw the $64 turkey I posted.
Oh yeah. What the
That's
hell?
yeah, that's $9 for butter, $10 for butter, $8 for milk. It's tough right now. That's why I don't you know re- I just kind of mention, to leave a donation or a tip, but I don't push it. I just mention it once because I understand that with this inflation, with Brandon and Castro, that people are in a tough position right now, and it's difficult. And we just need to, you know, we just gotta follow through the process. That's what I always keeps telling myself. Just follow the process, and the outcome will be what the outcome will be. And times are hard right now, and things are difficult right now. But I know not too far into the future, things will look up, and things will change up as well. And and as well, we rely on the community to do this, to really to take care of us as well, because for a lot of us this is literally like a full-time job where I know myself. I usually wake up around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I start working usually by around 8 o'clock, and then I'm nonstop until usually till like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, right? So that's like 15 hours, 14, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, 367 days a year, non-stop, right? So, and, really it's a full-time job. So we look to the community to help and support us, and I've even been thinking of, maybe set up like a 50-cent army, to where, everyone in our community just donates 50 cents, right? There's thousands of us, literally there's thousands of us. And if everyone can donate like 50 cents, right, that can really take care of the content creator, right? Takes care of the channel so that they can fully just focus on raising awareness and enlightening people and bringing these globalist cabal to the light, and show the people exactly what's going on, and to not let them fall into the traps that these people are setting up. Because us, behind the screen here, we're seeing things a tad little bit differently, I imagine, I assume, than people who are watching us. Because people who are watching us, yes, they're consuming content, and they're taking in content, the same type of content that we deliver, but the difference there is that we're engaging those people, we're speaking with those speakers, and then behind the screen we're constantly speaking with other people, taking in information, consuming information, writing things down, and just always on top of things, and bringing light
Always
to
on the
things.
job.
Yeah,
Always
like
on the job.
bringing lights to things. Like I made a post yesterday on Facebook, and somebody had said something, and I decided to go and look at their profile. And then when I went and looked at their profile, I noticed that they had an avatar for their profile picture, and it kind of just struck me right there at the moment, because I had this conversation with a guy a few weeks ago. This is what I'm talking about. I had a conversation with a guy a few weeks ago, and he was talking about the metaverse and social credit scores and things like that. It wasn't a streamed conversation. It was just a private conversation in my meeting room, and he didn't want to be streamed. Just wanted. I was actually vetting the guy, right? I was vetting him to see, whether I want to put him on the channel or not. But anyways, we were speaking. So when I saw that avatar last night, it suddenly struck me, and I made a post about it. I was like, it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye while they're coming for your third eye. And the point is that they're preparing and programming people to create avatars so that they can make a smooth transition from this normal 2D Facebook that we have and into the metaverse. And into the metaverse, you're going to have to wear, wearable technology. So you're wearing headsets and Google glasses and things like that. And then what comes next after that? It goes from wearable technology to implantable technology. And then those implantable technologies are connected to the social credit score and, things like that. Right. So, it may seem innocent right now with just a tiny little avatar, but believe you me, that avatar has much bigger,
Oh, the implications. Don't
that's
worry. It's
right.
like, don't worry about who you are. We've got
Yeah,
something to cover that up. You could be whoever you want to be,
that's right.
right?
So,
And that
just,
takes you out of yourself. Like that makes you not want to be content in your own skin. It makes you want to achieve something that you might not be. And
yeah.
that is the like that is like the absolute opposite of what we talk about. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's absolutely the antithesis. I say that a lot and I say it kind of weird, but the antithesis of what we're fighting against. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
our mission to make sure that people don't fall for that crap. Like that's not what you should be doing. You should be looking in the mirror and telling yourself, I love you. This is what I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love myself. I love me for who I am, for my defects, for my deformities, whatever they may be, for my shortcomings. But that's what makes me me. And
That's
that's why
right.
I love it.
And if you don't like it, fuck you. It doesn't really matter because it's
Exactly.
me that has to walk in my shoes. It's me that has to live within my skin. So, I like who I am and that's it. And I'm not going to change that. So, the idea, that's what I was saying about, picking up like tidbits of information and then all of that kind of just sits in the background. And then eventually you begin to connect dots and you just get epiphanies. And then that's the epiphany I had last night. And and I was like, this is not right. People need to know about this. So I made a post about it and let people know. And and we have to look at the idea of this metaverse as well. The word meta means death, and the word verse comes from a Latin word meaning, I believe it's pronounced vistriati. Vestriati or something like that. It's a Latin word, and but anyways, the that's where we get the word verse from, is from that particular Latin word. And then that Latin word means to to be whole, to make one, right? So you have metaverse, death makes one. You understand? That's the idea behind metaverse, right? Because verse is to make everything one, meta means death. So they're trying to take you into this hive mind where they can hijack your third eye. That's why I said, it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye, and that eye is not these two, it's your third eye is what they're after, right? So we have
Shedding
to,
physical sensory to become part of the collective. That's what they
that's
want.
yeah. And then now if you have an avatar and you're connected to that, and then that's connected to your digital ID and to your scores and stuff like that, and let's say you make a post about Brandon, you're not happy with Brandon, let's say, next thing you know, you're not allowed going into a grocery store to buy anything. I actually made that comment yesterday while we were speaking. Check this out, Rob. Here in our city, Kamloops, there is a Walmart up the hill, and Walmart used to be manned or womaned, whatever it is, however you want to take your pronouns. There's used to be all cash registers there, and you had to walk through the cash register, like the normal, right? So what they've done over the past little while is that they've taken all the cashiers out and made everything into a self checkout. Now,
Oh man.
I was reading this article about this guy who had gotten caught stealing some meat. Right, he didn't scan it and he just put it in his bag. So, anyways, they grabbed him and took him to the back office, took all of his information, and check this out. They took all of his information and then put it into a data bank. That data bank is shared with all of the grocery stores and Walmarts across the country. Right. So
Hmm.
now all of these Walmarts and things like that, they have facial recognition cameras. So if you're, say, banned in Seattle and you're in say, I don't know, Philadelphia, and you walk into a Walmart, facial recognition is going to pick you up and say, hey, that guy stole something in Seattle and he's banned from Seattle. So then they're not going to allow you to come into their store either. And then now if they incorporate all of the grocery stores together, then they'll share that same database and then they'll be sharing their information.
You
And
won't be
then
able to
next
go
thing,
anywhere.
yeah, exactly.
It's just that's the preemptive, the making of lists and databases is the preemptive move towards that social score or that
Hmm.
social ability to really hold in, yeah, kind of block people from doing specific things. And if you don't follow or conform to what they want, then you're shit out of luck. It's
Hmm.
over for you. You won't even be able to live. You'll be living in a hovel off 52nd Street in a tent city because nobody else will have you, shall we
Hmm.
say.
And
And
it
it's
all starts
crazy.
with an avatar.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And just to
Pull
go,
the trigger.
what you were talking about is having like all of that time to really process and make shows and epiphanies. That's something I did recently too, is because we're not at this self-sustainable level yet, which hopefully we'll get there, but the universe is working for us and we're not looking for anybody to hand out money or anything like that. We just want to get information out. So I had to pick up an actual 9 to 5 job. So on top of that's why I'm always looking so tired now, because on top of all those hours of figuring out content, creating shows, researching, looking at ideas, and it's a blessing too, because there's things that I've picked up in public settings that I haven't picked up before about public consciousness and being in this job. So there's so much benefit to it, but I had to add that 40 to 50 hours a week into that mix too. So it's like sleep is, you know, sleep. I guess I'll sleep when I'm dead. Sleep is the cousin of death. So I haven't seen some good sleep in probably about a month and a half now. But it's worth it. It's like Metallica talks about riding the lightning, and I'm pretty much doing that. I'm riding the lightning right now. All the internal energy is coming forth. So,
I like
but
that.
it's because I want to be able to build things within the community too. It's not just when we ask people to contribute and help us. I want to be able to match that and put it back at the
Hmm.
same time. So we're matching energies. We're not one side is kind of putting more than the other. And it's really been tough to manage the time, but I'm getting a hang of it now. And today is actually my day off from work, the only day I have. But we're doing 2 live streams today. We're having this one, and then at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be having the fundamentals of sacred geometry and
Ooh.
what sacred geometry means in the way of life. There's a little bit more research I have to do, so there may be a part 2 to that as well. But we're going to go over the basics tonight, because a lot of people know what sacred geometry is, but they don't really like they can see it, right? You see the sacred geometry, but sometimes we don't understand what it means and why it means what it means. So I'm going to do a little small little 1 or 2 episode intro into sacred geometry, and kind of giving us the ability to look at the basics and what it means to formulate these ideas that are based around sacred geometry. And one of the things that we talked about when the Tartarian stuff was the star cities and the cities that were built in sacred geometrical shapes. So it's going to go even further into why they're built that way.
Hmm. Did you read the article that just came out recently? And um, I forgot who it was. Lad Bible. I think it was Lad or someone, but they were talking about scientists putting in the Fibonacci sequence into this new quantum computing computer that they have, and the computer reacted just totally different than what it normally would have, and they just continue to put that sequence in, right? And
It
this
went
quantum computing,
haywire. It was like and shorted out, like pretty much
I
like life can't
yeah,
imitate technology, my friend. It's different. You can't have
yeah,
it.
it did so many things. It was kind of weird. It just started to do things, right? And they're like, wow, but they actually kind of broke in through something, because what they discovered was that by putting in this Fibonacci sequence, if I'm catching the article correct, is that by adding the, or by injecting this Fibonacci sequence to this quantum computing, right? The zero, you know how it's been 0 and 1, right? So what they were able to do is take that 0, and within that 0 have the 1 as well in that 0, and within the 1 have the
Really?
0.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's interesting that they would try that because
yeah.
you can't have 0 point and add one. It doesn't
No, they
mix.
Yeah, they got the 0 and the 1 in that one digit, 0, 0, 1,
Right,
1,
right.
and within that 0, they have the 0 and the 1, and within the 1, they have the 0 and the 1. So the both digits can hold 100% more information, right? So the
Oh, got it, got it, got it. I
right,
have
so
to read
the
this article. This
right, so
article sounds
the
incredible.
so the 0, it can be the 1 or a 0, and then the 1 can be 1 and a 0, right? And that's by injecting that Fibonacci sequence into this quantum computing, and that's what they figured out, that that's what was able to happen. And maybe I'm wrong as to like how I'm interpreting the article, but I read a lot of them, and I think I picked it up pretty well, and I was kind of struck back by it. I was like, wow, that's just going to break open a whole new field of computing.
Quantum computing. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, and yeah, it's pretty interesting.
You know,
And
I'm seeing a comment right now from Tony, and it says, "Giving up all this darkness is hard for the human ego, self. We need to let it go. We are the problem." But in my eyes, I think we're also the solution,
mhm,
right? While we might have been the problem, and some of us are still a problem, ultimately we are the ones that are the anti to their pro, or we're the pro to their anti. It's we are the adverse reaction to their actions, or their
mhm,
we are the consequence of their actions. And such can be said about both of us, both that party and us, whether it be the good or the bad, the light and the dark, the left and the right, doesn't matter. We are opposites, right? And opposites are always in congruence in the sense that they're always surrounding each other. And for us to fully come out of this funk, we have to understand that we are the antidote to whatever poison they're putting out there. We are the, I don't want to say what we usually say, but the we're the opposite of whatever they're doing. And that's why
mhm,
it's our ability and our duty to be the front line and to change that, because the answer is us. We are the answer.
mhm.
And we can help change them.
The way I understand this, Rob, my brother, is that we're here in this 3D world. We are bound to the laws of physics of this universe, because it just is what it is, right?
Hmm.
Water will always be wet. No matter how hard you try to make it dry, it's never going to be dry. It's always going to remain wet. Now, this density that we're in, this incarnation that we're in, this dimension that we're in, we've chosen to be here in this dimension. And then within this dimension comes the polarity of things. Maybe another dimension there is no polarity, but for God's sakes, in this one, surely there is polarity. Where there's day, there's going to be night. Where there's black, there's going to be white. Where there is light, is going to be darkness. When there's a man, there's going to be a woman. Where you have a child, you're going to have an old man. Everything has a polarity in this universe. Now, when it comes to the light and the darkness within each and every single one of us, because we have the darkness, we are capable of being extremely, extremely ruthless, but we are also capable of being extremely loving as well. And it just depends on your experiences. It depends on your perception as to which side you wish to follow. Now, I don't follow this new age stuff, where it's just love light, love light, love light, and you ignore everything else. Meanwhile, the problems over there just continue to build, but ignorantly you're just deciding not to look that way because it's darkness and it's evil, and you just don't want to have anything to do with it. And I'm resonating at a high vibration, and I only speak high vibration, and I only live high vibration. That is absolutely nonsense. That is brainwashed, and that's exactly what it is, because no one can live in that type of environment, not in this density, not in this universe. As I said, there's laws of physics to this universe. Now, if somebody comes along and be's rude to my wife, believe me, I'm going to beat the shit out of them. But if someone comes up and,
Hell yeah.
if someone comes up and praises my wife and says, "Hey, wow, you're a very good looking woman, it's nice, you're amazing," I'd be like, "Hey, right on, that's my girl," and I'm just going to walk with her, and I'm going to be happy about it. You're the same way, and everyone who's watching is the same way. We all have that capacity within us. So when we ignore the darkness, or when we ignore the light, we're just simply ignoring ourselves, because the darkness that's on this world is an expression of us. It is a shadow of us, because of our acquiescence to this globalist cabal that we've been involved with. And we're just expressing our fears, and our fears is what the shadow is. And then once we begin to look at that, once we go into that fear and into those shadows, then we can begin to work and understand what it is, and then begin to bring that into harmony and into balance. You ever hear too much of one good thing, too much of something is not good for you? You
Everything
can.
in moderation.
That's right, man. So, I say, if you're gonna love with moderation. If you're gonna kick somebody's ass with moderation. Don't lean one way too much on this way. Don't lean too much in this way, because the way that this world operates is that if you're too nice, is going to attack you. And if you're, mean, it will attack you. But if you keep everything in balance, then you seem to just skate along just smoothly, and and not experience some really serious problems. And that's kind of where I stand, when it comes to this whole lightness and darkness. Because to me, what I've learned through my research is that this new age program that everyone is following is Rockefeller created, it's Rothschild financed, and it came out about 150 years ago. And then from there they've just progressed on it, and they took an old package and made it into something new. Ever hear of the New World Order, one world religion? Right? That's where this new age is going to be. This is where this new age thing is headed. They want you to be in that love and light, love and light, love and light. They want you to ignore all the darkness and all the bad things that's happening, because by the time you figure out all the bad thing is happening, it's too late. You're going to be under their serious ass control. You're going to be happy driving around in your smart car, living in smart cities, but wait till you want to go camping, and suddenly your car doesn't work. Or maybe you wrote something nasty on Facebook, and suddenly your car doesn't turn on, because now you're being punished because they can control your car from someplace. That's the darkness that we're working with on this side. So we have to go into it, and we have to explore it, and we just can't sit around and just be citizens any longer. You understand? Because I'm looking at this one comment, Tim, from Arc Light. It says, yeah, I think they wanted to at one point, oh, it's a different comment, microchip in a pill. Yeah, I got something for that. But there was another one that I saw up here. Where is it? Okay, I can't find it. But anyway, it was something to do with the citizen. Who was it that put it up there? But guys, as I've mentioned before, calling yourself a citizen is not a good thing. It's not a positive thing, because a citizen is someone who is under the servitude of someone or something. Right? So essentially, if they've taken the word slave and then changed it to citizen, right? Because again, a citizen is someone who is under the servitude of someone or something. In my case, it would be Charles Mountbatten, who is the head of state in Canada. And because he supposedly, through the doctrine of discovery, owns Canada, I'm under his servitude, right, as a citizen of Canada. But I choose not to be the citizen of Canada, because I choose to exercise my right as a human being, because within the Constitution, like let's say you're living in the United States, you are under the servitude of the Constitution of the United States. You understand? Because that's your head thing. That's like your number one thing in the States, right? Everything is based off of your Constitution, right? You
Right.
can't do this because the Constitution says this. You can't do this because the Constitution says that. So because the Constitution is the number one thing, the priority in the United States, so in essence, you are under the servitude of that particular document. But when we look into that document is also tied in, because the United States is a signatory to the human rights treaty, the covenants, political and economic covenants, a few of them that these G7, G20 countries are tied to. And within those human rights and within those covenants, it clearly indicates that no one on this planet can be held under a servitude of someone or something. So
Well,
that's why
hang on 1 second on that, because there's the constitutional period from the 1700s to about 1861. And from 1861, then the Corporation of the United States is created. And that's when the Constitution sort of becomes a archetype, and it's amended as such to be an archetype for that servitude. But
Mhm,
prior to that, the intention of the Constitution originally was, of course, just guidelines, and the people would govern themselves. And that was just a way to look at something and say, okay, these are kind of the standards we live by. But once the institution of the corporation was instilled, is when they started to utilize the Constitution in a way that made both subservient to the edicts of what it
mhm,
said. And that's when
mhm.
they started to amend that. They changed the language to make it that way as well.
That's right. Canada is the same thing. From 1867 to 1984,
Yeah.
we had the Magna Carta essentially as our constitution, and then in 1984, when Pierre Trudeau went to Elizabeth Mountbatten and asked her to sign off on the old constitution, which was the Magna Carta, and then the Canadian government came up with their own constitution and then went to the Queen or to Elizabeth, and then she signed off on it. So when she signed off on it, right, essentially what that did was made Canada into a sovereign country, right? Because up until then, Canada was British. So Canada, guys, was actually born in 1984, right? Not in 1867 because of the new constitution. Now, as you're saying, Rob, it was the same thing. The Magna Carta was the rule of the land here. And then when 1984, when the Human Rights Treaty got signed, when the covenants got signed, all of that got incorporated into the Constitution, right? Because your government is a signatory to it. And then now, once that gets incorporated into the Constitution, it becomes law. That's why they have these words like person, individual, citizen,
Hmm.
human, right? That's why they have this, right?
Signaling and signifying towards the fact that you are
That's
what
right.
they want you to be.
That's right. And that's why they've made the word, um, citizen so patriotic, right? They want you to resonate with that word. They want you to be proud of that word. And if anyone says anything against it, they want you to show your teeth and attack them, right? Because that's what they want, because they understand that as long as people continue to call themselves citizens, then they are not obligated to give them any rights. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're
Yep.
standing there and saying, I'm a citizen of the United States and I have the right to bear arms, right? But then the guy that's sitting on the other side that actually understands the language that is part of the globalist elite, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, no, you don't have any rights. That's why you have that problem in the United States, because people continuously saying, citizen, 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 citizen. They're not saying it is my human right to be armed and to protect myself, because within the Constitution, it's protected that way. So when you go to a government official, when you fill out a document, what do they say on that document? What citizenship are you? right? They don't give you any other option. They want you to sign off on that citizenship so that you're acknowledging the idea that you are a slave. You're a slave, Neo, right? And this is what they want you to do. But when you leave that off, and you put underneath it human, right, suddenly you've created a huge problem for them, because they don't have anything to address that, because the workforce, the bureaucrats that are sitting in the office, they have no idea, because they think that they're proud citizens too, right? It's only when you go higher up in the pyramid that you begin to learn their language and how it works and how their system works. So as long as you continue to say I'm a citizen, then hey man, then you don't have any rights. Simple as that. That would be like, a slave, in a cotton field, going to his slave owner and saying, hey, I have rights, I get weekends off, right? That guy would have grabbed the whip and he would have beat that poor slave and says, no, you don't have any rights. You're going to do what I'm going to tell you, and that's it. Now things have just simply changed. Instead of him picking up a whip or a cane, they're just going to add some digits to your credit scores and saying, okay, well, this guy didn't acquiesce, this person didn't acquiesce, they said this, they said that, and you'll be punished through that as long as you continue to identify as a citizen. I've said that hundreds of times on my channel. As long as you continue to identify as a citizen, you're fucked. You got to say, I am a human being. And then when that bureaucrat tries to argue with you, you bring in the Constitution, you bring in the human rights. At that time, they have no argument, because the government is bound by law to recognize those treaties and those rights if you ask for them.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? If
That's
you
right.
ask for them. If you don't ask for them, they just carry on. They'll rob you.
That's what the Hague is all about.
Yeah,
Crimes against the human being, not
that's right.
jurisdicted. It's not in the jurisdiction of any single one government.
Mm-hmm.
It is through the court of personal. I forget what it's called. It's like personal humanity, something like that. It's humanity. It's under the courts of humanity, right? And that's why no single government can hold that body, or no single judiciary person in any established government can sit on the Hague in that way.
Mm-hmm. And look
That's
how
why
they've
it's right.
sorry to interrupt, Rob, but look
No,
how
yeah,
they've actually perverted the system, because what they have is they got the Hague, right? And then Hague, as we all know, the World War II trials took place there. The Nuremberg trials happened at the Hague because crimes against humanity was committed. The genocide that happened in Yugoslavia, what's his name? Slobodan Milosevic, I think his name was tried at the Hague, and then you had the genocide between the Tutsis and the Hutus that took place in Rwanda in the 90s, and I forgot the names of the two leaders off the top of my
they were
head.
tried at the Hague too, were they
They
not?
were tried at the Hague as well. But now here's the perversion of it. They went ahead, like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and then the World, or the Council of Foreign Relations. They went up and they set up another court body, right? And then they called that court body the World Court. Right now, the World Court holds no jurisdiction whatsoever. It's
Like the
not.
court of public opinion,
That's right. It's what it is.
literally.
It's a kangaroo court. But what they've done is that they've given the image of the Hague, right? So now, right, like what's his name? Borgio Hororio, or I think that's his name, Francis, the so-called Pope. He's wanted on murder charges, sex trafficking crimes, human trafficking, things like that. He's wanted on those charges. There's an international warrant out for this guy, but because this warrant was issued from this world court, no government in the world is recognizing,
They won't touch it.
even though that they're the ones that actually helped set up this court body. Charles Mountbatten is also, there's arrest warrants for him for similar crimes. There was arrest warrants for Elizabeth Mountbatten for same crimes. There's arrest warrants for the Canterbury of the English Church, which is the highest representative of the church in England. There's similar charges out for his arrest, similar charges out for the Canterbury of Canadian Church, similar arrest warrants out for him. There's been a few few attempts to actually place Bergoglio under arrest, and his security details have assaulted and nearly killed the people that actually tried to place the arrest on these people. But this is how they perverted the system, right? And then this again goes back to what I was saying with the citizen, is that if you're not aware of it, you're not going to ask for it, right? And if you don't ask for it, then they're going to continue to treat you the same way. So I would suggest to change your language, change your perception, stop calling yourself citizen, and start acknowledging yourself for what you are. You are a human being. You're not a person. You're not an individual. You're not a citizen. You're simply a human being that's been labeled Janine or Arclight or Kelly or Wildfire or Christine, Anders, Indiana.
Where what do you see that comment of the person that's like trying to be ridiculous in all caps? I don't see that anywhere in either of our chats, but somehow it's
I
in this
see it
chat.
here. I see it here. It says Wild Fox. I love
No,
cock. Is that the one?
easy.
Is that the
Let's not
one?
go. Yeah,
Is that the one you're seeing?
but I'm not
Okay,
seeing it.
number
I'm
one.
seeing it in our chats on our
Don't do
pages.
anything. Yeah, don't do anything with that person, because what you probably did in the past, Rob, was you probably put the user in a timeout, or you block them on your channel so that you can't see them. The way you have to do it is that once you see their comment, like I will over here, in fact, go into Google afterwards and find all the people that you have blocked, and then you gotta hit the three dots next to their name. You have to go to their channel physically and go to their about, and then in that about you see the flag, and in that flag you gotta click and you gotta say block, right? And then once you block them there, see, there's that person. What's their name? Subcap, the person's name. I just seen it float up all caps too.
I don't see it, so it must be something that I probably definitely put them in timeout.
Yeah, you put them in a timeout, and now they're going crazy.
We'll handle that. We'll handle that later. But yeah, buddy, don't worry. I just wanted to let him know that we see you, man. We see you. We see what you're trying to do here, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is
it doesn't work.
It's been a wild show. We've got almost 100 viewers on Full Spectrum Universe getting this word out, which is, this is what we wanted to do. So please smash that like button on both channels. If when this is over, please leave a comment below. What that does is that boosts the algorithm, and we want to help get my episode on my page, but also on Watchers Talk page out further, because his page is labeled into the description as well. So people look at those things and they will go back to Omar's new page, where the backup page is a better way to put it, and also to his Odysee, because we want to transfer of energy to the new page and Odysee from a situation that's really not fair, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna, guys, continue to go to my Watchers Talk that that I've been operating on. In fact, go there even more, right? Because YouTube's really fucking with the algorithms, and they're gonna try to damage my channel in one way or another. I know it over there. So visit it as much as you can. Watch videos on it as much as you can. Share those videos, comments on those videos, so the algorithm sees that whatever it's doing, we're fighting back, and that we're not gonna allow it to win. And then my backup channel, right, Watchers Talk Network, is where I'm streaming right now. I'd appreciate it if you guys can all file over there and hit subscribe and hit that bell, because that's really is going to be my backup channel, because I'm very concerned about my main channel. Like I said, I'm just one strike away from them eliminating my channel altogether, and I don't want to lose contact with any of you. You guys are like Star Family, and I want to continue to do what I'm doing, and continue to share this with you guys, and of course Odysee, like I said earlier, a half hour or so I'm going to do on YouTube, and I'm going to kill the stream and then continue to stream on Odysee. And the way I'm going to do it as well is I'm going to change the conversation as well. So the first half hour, first 15-20 minutes, in fact, that I'm on YouTube, I'm just going to keep it clean. And then once we move off of there and we go on to Odysee, then we're going to dig in and start talking about all the stuff, things like that, and then the ouchie Fauci, and all of that, and no holds bar, and just go forward from there. And also we're working on our platform with our buddy Eric Hecker, right, from decipher.tv, and we stream a lot of stuff there. We stream a lot of stuff there as well. Now, just before we cut it here, Rob, I just wanted to share with, I think it was Arc Light, that had mentioned something about them putting stuff in the pills and things like that. And yesterday, we actually covered that very thing. And it's more than pills, my friends. It's way more than that. So I just put this link up. Where'd it go? I just put this link up. Follow that link, and it's about a 12-minute video that I cut out of my interview with Frank Jacob, and it explains to you.
Worth a watch for sure.
It shows you a video, and it shows you on what these nanobots and these microdots are doing, inside of this temple, right? So, I would recommend, and I would suggest you guys watch it, share it with everybody. Everybody needs to see this, especially the ones that, fell victim to this parasite that we're dealing with. So that's it, man. That's it. That's the enough rant for me. And, thank you to everyone that came out to watch on the new channel or my backup channel, Watchers Talk Network. And again, please subscribe to that. I would really appreciate it, because I'm not really quite sure what's happening with my channel. And and of course, Full Spectrum Universe, right? Subscribe and hit that bell, because for some weird reason, guys, Rob and I, we were talking in the green room before we went live, when this algorithm began to mess with me. When I did the Rothschilds, it actually began affecting Rob's channel as well. Right, he was showing me his stats, and his stats are like this, right, just continuously going down, 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 at the very same time that my stats were going down. Right, Walter Douglas, is that it? Yeah.
Let's not get into that into the chat either, because they will censor the chat as well.
Yeah,
and I don't want to see anybody get hammered off here either, because this is about creating this community, right? So
Sugar Bee just got hit with a strike too, just not that long ago, and Sugar Bee
she doesn't even broadcast like that.
Yeah, exactly.
She's always in the chat. Like, that's why we've got to be, and I hate that has come to that, but we have to ride this tide for a little bit longer, because there's a lot more good work to be done here, which is, we've had almost 600 people watch this stream in an hour.
Bonus.
So Watchers Talk Network should have at least 300 subscribers by the time this is finished.
I hope so.
At least, as everybody should go over there and subscribe, because this is how we create our avenues of information for people to have. And with that information, again, it goes back to the people, because it's the empowerment of the information. The information is the activation, and we are the ones that we've been waiting for. So if we sit here idly by and do nothing, the things like that happened yesterday are going to keep happening, and people are going to keep being taken off platforms where they need to be. People are going to be taken off in ways, and it's going to be nothing but boring, government approved narrative all day, every day. There will be no discussions that will be adverse to each other where we can learn, right? And things are really getting crazy. So we have to be able to put our foot down. And again, go under this video and leave a comment. Go to Watchers Talk Network and do the same thing. Smash the like. Whatever channel you're on, go to the other one and do the same thing. Leave that comment. Those comments underneath are tremendous impacts on the algorithmic boost that you get for other people. So please do us a favor and do that. At least, if not, say prayers for us, meditate, and help us bring this collective to the forefront of the community, because it is that important that we get this information to people all over the world. And that's why we do what we do, at the understanding that the impact that we can create could be monumental at any moment in time. So we love all of you. We appreciate all of you for coming by today. It's been of course, we never stayed on topic completely. We did about 20 minutes of topic, and then we started to rant about things off the topic. But that's just what we do. Like, me and Omar haven't been on a show together. I don't know. It's been a couple of months anyway.
Yeah.
Months. And usually when we do the events, it's this amazing feeling, this amazing energy. and we should probably do this more often, but we've been so busy cultivating that information that it's hard for us to even we talk every day, but for us to get on the same stream all the time is somewhat difficult. So, we've got this going, and we're going to keep this motivation moving. We're going to keep the community moving and progressing no matter what obstacles or curveballs coming our way. So please understand that there is some transitional periods where we have to adjust where the energy is going to, but hopefully you stay on board because the end result will keep us loaded to bear and empowered to the most point that we possibly can because our potential is limitless. So thank you,
And
everybody.
guys, yeah, thank you everyone. And response to about Caden, we did some meditations last week, and Caden wasn't doing very well. He had ear infections; all of his teeth were coming out, and poor baby just wasn't doing very well. So he was in the hospital, hanging on. And all of us, we did two meditations for him, and through that meditation, we were able to give him enough energy and enough light and enough love, and that he was able to recover and go home the following day. And which is thankful for that. And his father is very grateful, and his entire family is very grateful. So and I'm grateful to you guys, and I appreciate you guys stepping up like that, and helping out one of our star seeds that's come here, that has heard the call and has come to participate within this shit show that we got going on, right? So we need to protect all of them, especially at this time and in this period, because that the attack is not against us. We are collateral damage. I was mentioning this afterwards yesterday to Frank, and I was saying that we are collateral damage, and the real attack is happening on the star seeds that are coming in, because this globus cabal understands what those star seeds are, why they're coming here, who they are. So the process is to stop them, right? So once they stop them, then they know that they're in charge fully. But as long as these star seeds coming in unaffected, then their position of power is extremely challenged, and we know they're narcissists and they don't like that. So that was an update, guys. Thanks for reminding me. I wanted to make a post on my channel, but as you guys know,
But there it is. But you know what? We'll gladly be cannon fodder for the next generation. I'll take that
yeah.
all day, every day.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me. Thank you for putting this
Oh, I love you,
together. I
brother. Of
appreciate it,
course,
brother.
man. We're
And
gonna be doing this more often now. Now that we need to start doing this more often because the collaboration of ideas is just off the chart. We've been working on our parallel missions, and it's time we
mhm.
have to intersect them a little more, and kind of cross the paradigm
yeah,
and bring it
that's
all into one unit.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, right? I know a lot of people in the past have suggested that Watchers Talk and Full Spectrum Universe merge, right? But we've stayed away from that for one reason, and we're showing you that reason, right? To why put both channels under jeopardy when when you can have both going at the same time. And the name of the game here, as I understand it, in my almost decade of doing this, is that sometimes you run solo for a while, and then you hook up with a buddy, and then you do a bunch of work together, and then you go off on your own path again, doing what you need to do, and then you come together again. And that's really how this works. But I love working with you. I enjoy what we
Oh,
do,
well, brothers
right?
for life,
Yeah,
man, and
yeah,
and that's
I
the
am.
thing is no matter how far we go out into the single areas, we always come back home to each other, and that's the key, I think
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and the great part is we say this all the time is that we don't agree on everything, and our conversations are stimulated with that in mind, and it
Mm-hmm.
it really it does a lot for me to see different perspectives, and I appreciate that. I love you for that because it's not always my own thoughts thinking for me. You give me information and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Okay, now I understand a different perspective, and it's just then that we will be brothers forever, no matter
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens or what comes. We will always support each other. We will always have each other's back. It's been that way since day one, and it's never going to change. Nothing, no exterior force can change the internal
Yeah.
congruence that we have with each other.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Nothing's gonna change. And I appreciate our friendship, because I'm not looking for a yes man right? I'm looking for a no man, right? Where
Yeah,
I say something
same here.
and, it's like, no, I think you're wrong, bro. I don't agree with that. And then once you say that, then you get new ideas and it challenges you, and it challenges you to become better, be better, and to research more. So thank you, Rob. I got to run.
All right, man. Yeah, we're going to shut
I
this down.
appreciate it. And thank you, everyone that came and watched. I appreciate all of you. Love you guys very much. And keep an eye on this space for more details to come.
Yeah, and tonight again, 8 p.m. Eastern Central or Eastern Standard, Eastern Central Time, Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fundamentals of Sacred Geometry. We're going in tonight. Tonight we're getting
Oh,
deep.
I can't wait
So
for that.
come on back. We've got about a 5-hour break, and we're going to go right after it again because that's what we do. It's a day off. We're going to go stream 3, 4, 5 times, record some videos. Who cares? We got it going on. So everybody, come on back in just a little while, and thank you to the almost 700 people who had watched this stream within the hour. Absolutely incredible. So we support Watchers Talk at every shape, fashion, and form. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you all later. So thank you, everybody.